I read The Left Hand of Darkness and it changed me a little. So let's start at the beginning. Genly I is our main character. He's the main point of view for this story. He is an alien ambassador from this universe's intergalactic alliance. He's trying to get the planet Winter to join their humanitarian effort of harmony and be part of the 81 planets that are working together. In his mission to do so, he is met with environmental, political, cultural, philosophical, psychological, sociological, you name it. Every type of conflict you can think of, he is facing it. This novel explores themes of isolation and ignorance and belonging and friendship and patriotism, among many others. Aside from Genly I, we also see the point of view of a Straven or a Straven. He's a native of the planet Winter, and he is not even a he, it's a she or both, or I'm not sure because they're androgynous people on this planet. So 5/6 of the time they have no gender, and then 1/6 of the time they have a gender that's just kind of dependent on the other people that are in heat around them. So they can be a boy or a girl, and they can end up being a mom or a dad, depending on what the season is of their Kemmer, which is like their form of mating season. This is on a 26-day cycle, so aside from the 5 or 6 days that they're in heat, they really aren't interested in any type of mating or any type of interaction with the other sex or gender other than just friendship or strictly platonic. This book is definitely science fiction. The science is not super abundant. This is mostly a novel of ideas seen through the lens of a first contact encounter. The science is mostly referential. The scientists did this, time jump that, physiological differences here, cryosleep there, and that's not really an integral part of the plot. It's more of a means to an end. I would say this is soft science fiction, but it's done very well. The society shares the main roles of parenting amongst families as well as different societal upbringing groups. They have like homes where they raise people all together. Just kind of depends on which society you're in. There is no war on Winter. There is occasional violence, but throughout their history they've never really had an all-out war. As you may have expected, it's pretty cold on Winter. The average temperature is 0 degrees Fahrenheit on any given day. They also have no fast-moving transportation. The max speed is 25 miles per hour. They have radios. I don't think they have TVs. There's no really insane computational power present on the planet. They have no flying vehicles. It is just really cold and really bright most of the time as well. They have extreme temperatures, not really much in the heat category, but definitely in the cold, and the people on the planet have become adapted to that, so they're physiologically more adept to dealing with the cold. So our emissary, I, is having a really hard time dealing with that, so he has to use heaters, and he has to use different clothing and all sorts of ways to combat that really cold temperature. Aside from the environment, the setting is 2 bordering countries. One is Karhide, and the other one starts with an O. I can't remember how to say it. But regardless, one is ruled by a king, and the other is ruled by a shadow government. You would see how each country responds to refugees, unlikely threat, or things beyond their understanding. It invites the reader to ponder what the best response would be, or if they would act any different in that situation. This novel dares you to accept the duality of suffering and salvation, the bad and the good, the light and the dark, and it recognizes the strength of restraint and the power of control. You can see that through this genderless society, through the restraint of the interplanetary alliance sending only one man when they could easily send a force that would overpower this less technologically advanced populace, through the countries that could have easily blown each other up but have just not done it, chosen not to. The people of Winter understand you cannot continue on without being either a mother or a father at some point in your life, or maybe even both. The Alliance understands you cannot force cooperation that is coercion, and thus it is not the basis of a genuine partnership. The country understands with already intense and relentless brutality that the planet inflicts on them every season that such acts of all-out war between nations are senseless. When the preservation of everything is so vital to survival, to frivolously throw away human lives seems alien. The qualms of men seem trivial in the eyes of God, as does the squabbling of countries in the plans of interplanetary unification. The changes of perspective runneth over in this book, and I don't just mean in the sense of narrative point of view, but in the ability to shift your outlook, to reel back the magnification when examining an idea or concept. You think you're getting a commentary on gender and sexuality and how it shapes society, and you are and you do, but you also get something more profound. You get a glimpse into the human psyche from the lens of a world not dictated by the constant pressure of competition, the constant quickening flow of progress, relentless, gluttonous consumerism, and the unadulterated selfishness that has become synonymous with everyday life for a human in today's society. We're all sprinting towards the next delight, the next pleasure. On the planet Winter, where pleasures are few and hard to come by, you are shown the value of simplicity and sincerity. You're shown that wisdom not only lies in knowing all the answers, but in knowing which questions not to ask. Le Guin speaks to the absurdity of patriotism when taken to the extremes. Radicalization by those who seek to weaponize it look foolish. She shows that the interpersonal relationships and the small going-ons between people are what ultimately lead to large-scale change. She shows us that despite what seems to be an insurmountable amount of odds, the will to continue, the hope, the faith that you will make it, the unshakable belief that you are ordained by fate in the universe, that it will be done, that if you truly hold that belief in your heart, you know it to be true, nothing can stop you from accomplishing your goal. And the universe will make it so because that's just the way it is. At least that's how I interpreted it. But knowing that you will accomplish something does not mean you know how you'll accomplish it or what you need to do in order to accomplish that goal or what you need to sacrifice in order to receive the reward that you seek. There's no light without shadow, and there's no place devoid of darkness that is also there that's not going to be devoid of light, because without a beginning there is no end, and without dark there can be no light. There needs to be one for the other. There has to be a balance. There is some magic, there's some mysticism, there's metaphysical elements, there's telepathy, there's glimpses of the future, and occasional feats of extra human strength. With all that being said, it's obviously worth reading this book. It's worth your time. It honestly changed the way I think about a lot of things and opened up my mind to a different perspective. It put me into someone else's shoes, and that is the whole point of literature. I've talked about that before. I would recommend this book to anyone looking for a fresh sociological view or psychological view, and if you don't mind reading a little bit older style of writing that has a little bit more of a run-on feel. I would give this book a solid 8.3 out of 10, only because it's a little bit lacking in the entertainment department compared to some modern literature, but it makes up for it for uniquely thought-provoking ideas. Love this book. I can 100% understand why it's a classic. Definitely give it a shot if you have not already. The next book I'm going to review will probably be the Lacanius trilogy, The Stand, or The Sword of Kagan. If you have any, recommendations for me, let me know. I'm also going to be talking about these books soon, so leave some information about these bad boys in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.